Good evening, students, and I welcome you for another amazing lecture and another important topic. Student, on the screen you have transition elements. D block elements, students. What we are talking are D block elements. You have studied, student, S block elements. Tell me, what were the S
Yes, sir.
block elements, students? Which I told you. What I told you, alkali metals. Did
Yes,
you
sir.
do that? Group one, NS1, general electronic configuration. Then we also discussed with you, student, halogen family.
Yes, sir.
They were in the P block elements, halogens, X, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. The general valence electron configuration was represented by these students. General valence, outermost valence shell electron configuration, right?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm talking of D block elements. Student, first question you will ask me is, student, what are D block elements? First question, what are D block elements? What is your answer, students? You have 1 minute to answer the question. See, question answers are very important. When you participate in question answer session, your mind grows, student. As a brain exercise, which you must try and do. What is your answer, student?
What are D block elements?
What do you mean by D block elements, students?
D block elements are transition metals.
That's all. Is that the definition we will give you in the exam, student? What are S block elements in which the electrons were being filled, student, in the S orbitals? What we told you when we discussed S
Elements
block elements. Said the
elements
electrons are
whose electrons are being
post
filled in the
S
D
orbital.
block.
In the P block, we said the electrons are being filled, student, in the outer D orbitals. And here, student, we will say that the electrons are being filled in the outer D orbitals. What you are saying, that electrons are being filled in the outermost shell of D orbitals. D orbitals. Let me not say shell because they become the inner shell, students, in the D orbitals. Okay? So the electrons are being filled in the outer D orbitals. When the electrons are progressively filled in the D orbital, student, what they will become? They will become D block elements. If the electrons are being filled in the F subshell, we call them as F orbital. Lanthanides and actinides, what F block elements. So when we will write the electronic configuration, students, you will find that the transition element, students, you will find that, students, the transition elements are between, student, S and P block elements. They are lying between S and P block elements, students. You have 3D1, 3D2, like this. How many electrons I can fill in the D, student? 10. So this will be my first transition series. This is the first row of the, this is called 3D transition series, student. 3D transition series. This is my first transition, first row or first transition series. The electron will go in 3D, student. D2, D3 up to where? D10. Therefore, student, you have in the periodic table, if you have a look of the periodic table, you have group 1 and group 2. Then they will start from group 3. What will be the group number, student? 3, 4, 5. Where will they go, student? up to group 12, 3 to 12. Group number will be 3 to 12 students. These will be the transition elements. You have 3D series, 4D series, 5D series. So students, like this, you will have transition metal students, transition elements in which the electrons are being progressively filled into the d orbitals, There will be mainly three series of transition elements, which we will observe, student. What are those three series of the transition elements which you will see in the periodic table, student? First row is called 3D series. Then there is a second row, student. In the second row or second transition series, the electrons are being filled in the 4D subshell, 4D orbital. They will go from 4D 1 to 4D 10. And the third row will be the third transition series, 3D series, 4D series, 5D series. That means the electrons are being progressively filled in the 5D orbitals. They will all belong to group 3 to 12 student. So this will be my period number 4. This will begin from period number 4, student, period number 4. This will be my period number 5 and this will be my period number 6. Do you understand what I said, student, till now? Group number and period number. How do you identify those in the periodic table, students? That means 3D is not the outermost shell, student. It is called the penultimate because this belongs to the 4th period. The last shell will be, student, 4, n equal to 4, principal quantum number 4. When period number is 4, there will be 4 shells, students. Yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
That means, student, 3D is called the penultimate shell. It is inner shell, student. Outermost is 4s in these cases. Outermost shell will be 4s. Therefore, the first question has been answered. What are d block elements? Okay? Those elements in which electrons are being progressively filled in the d orbital, in the d subshell. Okay? How many series are there? 3D series, 4D, 5D. Main 3 series we are telling you in the periodic table. The 3D series is what we will be studying in this course. What we are going to study, student? 3D series. And in 3D series, how many elements will be there? You already know. Maximum electrons can be put in D subshell is, student, 10. So there will be 10 elements in the 3D series. Which are those elements, students? We have shown it. This is my first row of D block elements, student. First row. Now, student, we must learn at least this row for our exam. In the exam, this row must be learned. It's important for us students. This is called 3D series. 3D series, students. The first element here you see scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. The atomic numbers are given. What is the atomic number? Starts from 21 to 30, students. Atomic number starts from 21 to 30. So that means, student, these elements are D block elements, means the electrons are being progressively filled in the D subshell. Second question is, what are transition elements? This was question number 1. Question number 2, student. What are transition elements, students? What is the difference between these two? Transition elements are also in the D block elements, but all the D block elements are not transition elements. What I am saying, all the D block elements are not transition elements. Why do I say that? Then what is the definition? What is the definition of the transition element, student? So we are saying transition elements are those which have partially filled or incompletely filled D subshell. These are elements, students, which have elements which have partially or incomplete filled d orbitals in ground state, or or at least one stable ion or oxidation state. Do you understand what I said, students? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
There's not point to be noted down, student. There's a difference between F block and transition elements. Every definition is important, student. You will note down. These definitions, student, are important. These definitions are important, students. What are transition elements? Therefore, they have partially filled or incomplete filled d orbital in ground or at least one stable ion or oxidation state. That means either in the ground state or a compound is formed, student, which has partially filled d subshell. How many electrons are there in the d? Maximum 10. Partially means there will be at least one unpaired electron. In another way, I can say they should have at least one unpaired electron. There should be at least one unpaired electron. Then they will become, students. What they will become? Then they will become transition elements. If I see, student, I have written here how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 10 elements, student. So you are saying, student, the electrons are being filled in D, 3D1, 2, 3D2, like this. They will go to 3D10. But student, before this, 4s subshell is filled. There is what is filled, student? There is a 3D and 4s. 4s is filled first, student, then the filling of D starts, 1 to 10. Do you see what I am writing, student? This is the n equal to 4, student. N equal to 4 means I am talking of the fourth period, student. This is 4 shells, outer shell is n equal to 4. That is the outermost shell, student. 3D is not the outermost shell. This is called the penultimate shell. Penultimate shell means, student, next, before, preceding the outer shell. Preceding the outer shell. Have you noted down the point, student, what I am talking? This is not the outer shell, student, 3D. But what happens is, first the electrons go to the 4s. Once it is filled, maximum electron in S can be 2. Then the 3D becomes lower in energy. Lower in energy than 4p. Electrons are not going to 4p, but they start entering into 3D, students. Until 3D is filled, 1 to 10, student. Further electron filling will not go to the 4p subshell. That is why we are getting a transition metal series, which we are calling as the first transition series. This is a 3D transition series, student. This is a 3D transition series. First row. See the first row? I can also call this as first transition series. Or I am also saying, student, it is a 3D series. Is it clear? Any doubt?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
Yes, a transition element is an element that forms at least one stable ion with partially filled D subshell. That's what we are written. Same thing. Now, student, then that means that 10 elements have been written. And the last one will be Zn. What is the atomic number of Zn? Is 30. If you will write the electronic configuration of zinc, student, argon is 18. How do you write? The last cell is what, student? 4s. N equal to 4. Fourth period means 4 shell, 4s2. Then you have 3d10. You can see this is completely filled, student. 3d10 is completely filled. Is it? Yes or no? Tell me. The 3D is completely filled, student, in the case of zinc, yes or no? What is your answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then it does not qualify to be a transition element. And the most common oxidation state is Zn2 plus. Zn2 plus means 2 electrons will go from 4s2. That will become, student, 18 argon and 3d10. This is completely filled again, student, D subshell. Therefore, zinc is not a transition element. Important question. This was asked in the paper. Why? Why zinc is not a transition element? What is your answer, student? Because Zn or Zn2 plus, they have 3d10 configuration, student. Their D subshell is completely filled. D subshell or D orbital is completely filled, students. In the ground state or the stable oxidation state. Stable ion is Zn2 plus. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So this question was given in the paper. That why zinc is not a transition. The question of scandium is, scandium exists in +3 oxidation state mostly. And the atomic number is 21. Then what will be the configuration? Scandium will be what, student? 21 means argon is 18, students. And what you have? 3d1 4s2. Scandium 3 plus will be 18 argon. And it will become 3d0, student. 4s0. There is no electron in the D or S. But there some compounds, in some cases, in some compounds, scandium +2 is also known in a few compounds. Therefore, student, this scandium has been considered as a transition element, student. For example, this compound is known, it is not very stable, but is known, student. These compounds are those in which scandium is in +2 oxidation state. And not very stable, not stable, but they are known. Therefore, scandium has been considered as a transition element, but zinc has not been qualified. It does not qualify to be called a transition element, student. Have you noted down everything? Tell me.
Writing, sir, writing.
Write down each and every word, student. Any word can be a question in the paper. Let me tell you, understand. You have to understand each and every word, student. So therefore, these are belonging to student which period? Period number 4, the 3D series. Period number 4, student, and group number is changing from 3 to 12. This is group number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is our group number. And group number, student, group number is this, and period number 4th period. These are all belonging to 4th period. Any question can be put up in the papers. You have to be very careful, student. Learn everything. That is the important point.
Which
After we are
answer
finished,
writing?
we will proceed further, students. Can I proceed further, students?
Yes, sir, you can proceed now.
Okay, thank you very much, student. Always we are discussing the electronic configuration as and when the question comes. Now the question is electronic configuration of D block element, student. There, as I said, we are talking of the 3D series. There are two more series which are to be discussed, 4D and 5D in our course. Here I am saying 3D series means student the general electronic configuration students will be n minus 1. D, how many electrons you can put in D 1 to 10 and ns student 1 to 2. This is the general electron outermost shell configuration. Therefore, I said that the outermost shell is this one, S. This is our outermost shell students.
Okay.
Yeah. And it may have one or two electron students. And n minus 1 stand for the inner shell. This is an inner shell student. This is inner shell, not the outer shell. And this is called the penultimate shell, as we have told you. What happens, student? First, the S 4s is filled in if n equal to 4 student, if n equal to 4 for the 3D series, n is equal to 4 student. Then what it will become? 3D 1 to 10 and 4s 1 to 2 student. So for the 3D series, the general electron configuration is 3D 1 to 10, 4s 1 to 2 student. First, the electrons are filled in the 4s students. After the first one is scandium, you know, atomic number 21. And after, before this student, you already know atomic number 20. Atomic number 20 student. Then what will happen? After that student, atomic number 19 and 20, what happens is the 3D becomes lower in energy than 4p. So the electrons start entering into the 3D subshell students and 1 to 10, 1 to 10. So these are the elements students which we are written here. Scandium, titanium, vanadium, and atomic numbers 21 to 30. This we have to learn, I told you. The question will be, student, they will ask you in the exam to write the electronic configuration. How to write the electronic configuration, and it is a very easy, student. What scheme we use, student, already. Here, student, we are saying, for example, if I am given scandium, atomic number I know 21, fourth period. Fourth period, student, means the last shell will be 4. General electron configuration we have written 4s2. And what is the noble gas next before it, student? Argon 18. That is a noble gas. 18 plus 2, 21 is left. That will go in the 3D. So this will be the electron configuration of scandium. Okay. Any difficulty?
Yes, sir.
If I want to write for 22 is my titanium, students, you will say, okay, 18 argon, 4s2, 18 plus 2, 20, then 3d2. Then you say 23, this was titanium, vanadium. You will say 18 argon, 4s2, how much? 18 plus 2, 20, 3d3. Now the problem comes when we will come to chromium and in the case of copper. I have put, student, red mark here. Why did I put that? If I come to 24 students, 24 is chromium. So you are saying 18 argon, student. Then you will say 4s2 and 3d4. But this is not the correct configuration of this. This is not correct, student. What happens? One of the electron from 4s is shifted to 3d. The result becomes 3d5, 4s1. Why it becomes like this, student? Because half filled or completely filled subshells are more stable, student. This is due to extra stability. Extra stability of half filled orbitals. You have already studied this, that half-filled orbitals or completely filled orbitals are more stable, student. There is exchange energy which is involved. Therefore, this configuration becomes an exception, which case chromium. That will be asked in the paper, student, and copper also. Noted?
Yes.
Have you noted this? After that, if I come to manganese, no problem, student. You can write 18 argon. Then you have 125 means you have 3d5 and 4s2. Here this was not the configuration, but here it is half filled and it is completely filled. So the process continues. You can keep on adding one electron till you come to copper. Copper is 29, student. What will happen? 18 argon. If I put 4s2, 3d9, this is not the correct configuration for copper. What happens? One of the electron moves to here, to this will become completely filled. What it will become? 3d10, 4s1. So this is extra stable, completely filled subshell. Completely filled subshells or orbitals. Noted the points in two cases. They'll ask you these configuration in the paper, student. Copper and chromium. They are the, you are saying exceptions here. The reason we have told you, student, half-filled or completely filled subshells are more stable. Here we have shown the complete configuration, student. There is no need to show this because this is nothing but noble gas, argon. This is 18 argon, student. So we are showing this form. Tell me, is there any doubt to you now? Can you write the electron configuration in the paper, student? Yes or no? Will you be able to write the electron configuration in the paper? Yes or no? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, we proceed further. Then we come to the atomic radius of the transition metals. Atomic radius. You have discussed atomic radius in halogens, in alkali metal also. Here, student, what you are going from scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. The electrons are being filled in which subshell, student? Here you have 4s2, 3d1, then you have 3d2. The electrons are progressively filled in the d subshell, right? One more electron in the d subshell as you go, right? Yes or no? Tell me. The result is atomic number is increasing. Atomic number is how much? 21, 22, 23, up to 30. Atomic number, students, increases. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
That means the number of protons increases. Atomic number is nothing but number of protons. That means that nuclear charge is increasing. What is increasing? Nuclear charge. And there is some shielding effect, student, of the 3D. Electrons are going into the same 3D subshell. The shielding will do what, student? The shielding will push the electrons away from the nucleus. The attractive nuclear charge will pull the electrons towards it. But in this case, the shielding is not that effective. There is a shielding, but shielding is not very effective because the electrons are entering into the same 3D shell, students. So there are two effects. What are the two effects, students? What are the two effects? As the atomic number increases, student, effective nuclear charge increases. And what will that do, student? When the effective nuclear charge will increase, it will try to pull the electrons toward itself. But what is happening since the electrons are entering into the d subshell? What is the result of this? The electrons entering into D subshell student, there is a what we call shielding or screening effect. Screening effect student. ठीक है, screening effect. The atomic size increases. In the nuclear charge increases, atomic size decreases. Atomic size decreases due to this. This is attractive force. Shielding, what the shielding effect does, as more and more electrons are added into D, they are repelling each other, they are repelling. And the shielding will do what, student? If there is a poor shielding, what will happen? Then effective nuclear charge, the atomic size increases due to shielding effect. The atomic size increases, student. So if there is a shielding, what happens? The outer electron will experience less attractive force. As more electrons are added, there will be more electron-electron repulsions. It will try to push the electrons away from each other. So that will try to increase the size. So there are two factors. One is decreasing, other is increasing. And the atomic size increases due to shielding, and balance are decrease in size due to increase in nuclear charge to about 80%. Therefore, student, the net result is student, there is a small decrease in size. Small decrease in size. In group 1 of the alkali metal, you see large increase in size down the group because new shells were added. But here, electrons are entering into the same subshell, student. That shell is inner, not the outer. Is inner shell, not the outer. So the result of that is, student, there is a shielding effect. The shielding means more electron are adding. The electron repulsion will push the electrons away from each other. Nuclear attraction pulls the electron towards itself. So there are two forces. One is effective nuclear charge attracting, which contracts the size, and other is the shielding, the electron repulsion, which trying to push the away. So the net result is, student, as you can see, these are the values which we have given in picometer. Atomic radius in picometer, student. 144, there is some decrease, but the decrease is small. As you can see from here to here, student. Decrease, how much decrease is there? Decrease is there, but small decrease. Do you see small decrease?
Yes, sir.
144 to 132 is good decrease, but after this 118, 117, same. And then what do you find, student? Iron, cobalt, nickel, and copper almost same. Almost same, student. Because these two factors counterbalance each other. Effective nuclear charge and shielding or screening factor counterbalancing each other. One is pulling the electron and other is pushing the electron out. The result is they have almost the same size. And then there is an increase, slight increase, student, as you come from copper to zinc. Why? Because here, student, the screening effect, the electron repulsion becomes large. See, the electron repulsion increases more because Zn is 3d10. 10 electrons, they repel each other. And therefore, student, what will happen? There will be a larger screening effect, more than the attractive nuclear force, and there will be some increase in size. So you got my point, student, how we can explain these atomic, these are the atomic radii. These are the values of atomic radii, student, and units which we use are picometer, in picometer. ठीक है? The atomic size first decreases due to increase in effective nuclear charge, then becomes constant, then increases in transition elements. Electrons are filled in n-1d orbital. These n- screen the ns electrons. n-1d is inner, ns is outer. These will screen. If they will screen, student, the nuclear charge will become what? If they will screen, the nuclear charge will become less, size will increase. So the force of attraction between ns electron and nucleus decreases. This effect of n-1 d electron over ns is called shielding or screening effect. The atomic size increases due to shielding effect and balance the decrease in size due to increase in nuclear charge to about 80%. Thus, moving from left to right in a period, there is a small decrease in size and then almost constant, then almost remains constant. And then what happens? Then as you go from copper to Zn, there is a slight increase in atomic radius. Okay? Due to there are how many electrons are there in the transition? 10, 3d10, you know 3d10. So there will be large electron repulsions. Or I can say that the screening effect is large. Screening effect large. Clear? So this is the story of the atomic number. Note down, students, every line to be noted down. Noted? Note down,
sir.
each and every word is important. Question to be asked students in the exam. Electronic configuration, atomic radius, student, they are important questions in the paper, student, for the transition elements. And see, this is 144, 132, 122. So they're almost the same. And 125. Overall decrease also small. This is 117. This is slight increase here. Can I proceed further, students? Two facts are there. One is the effective nuclear charge, and second, effective nuclear charge decreases the size, and screening effect is increasing the size. Screening of the inner by inner 3D, the outer 4s, because ultimately the D are inner, not the outer. So they will shield the outer 4s electrons. More electrons will be there, then more repulsions is likely to be there, and they will push the size. Slight increase takes place. All right, students, we proceed further. Here is a student comparison of variation in atomic radius across period 3. You see that you have transition elements, which are those scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium. This is our 3D series. Scandium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. Here is the atomic radius in picometer. This is my titanium. There is a, you can see decrease. There's a good decrease, small decrease, and almost same. And then you see slight decrease. These are almost same, student, then slight increase. Can you see? Their sizes are almost same here, which we have explained. There are two reasons to explain the atomic radii. Watch two factors I have told you, student. One is increased effective nuclear charge with increase in atomic number. That increases with increase in atomic number. Okay? This will decrease, this decreases the size. And second, I told you, student, the screening effect of 3D suborbitals electron to the outermost 4s orbital. And as it increases, This will increase the size. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Two factors. The total result is the resultant of these two. So cumulative effect of 1 plus 2 will decide the total change. If I compare this with period 3 element, student, of the periodic table, period 3 of the periodic table. What are the elements of the period 3? Hydrogen, helium. This is sodium. After sodium, you get magnesium, student. Then you get aluminium. And then you get silicon. Sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, and Cl. This is my third period. And you know, across a period, what happens? If you go across a period, what happens to atomic size, student? It increases or decreases? In a periodic table, student, if you go across the period, what will happen to atomic size? Tell me, it will increase or decrease? Atomic size decreases, students, as you move from
Yes, sir.
left to right across the period. Yes or no? Why? Because the electrons enter into the same orbital. Third period is there, then the electrons are entering where? In these cases, student, you know, third period, the electrons are being filled in the, here the electrons are being filled, student, in S subshell, NS. What is the configuration of sodium? You know, NS1, NS2, and here NS, NS2, NP1. N remains the same. N remains the same, students. Third period is there, that means N equal to 3.
Yes, sir.
N will be 3. The last shell will be 3. So here it will be 3s1, 3s2. Here it will be 3s2, 3p1. And it will go up to 3s2, 3p5. Right? N equal to 3, students. Electrons are entering into the same shell. So there will be increase in effective nuclear charge. You can see how the sizes are decreasing. This decrease, you can see sodium, magnesium, aluminium. So their sizes are decreasing in a period. This is my third period, student.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have compared the two sizes. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another important property, student, which is coming, some of the physical properties of these elements are listed in the table. Atomic radius, first ionization energy, student. What is an ionization energy, student? Energy required to remove an electron, student, from the neutral gaseous atom is called the ionization energy. And we have told you this ionization energy is inversely proportional to atomic radius.
Okay.
The larger the radius, the farther away is the outer electron from the nucleus, lower will be the ionization. Lower will be the ionization energy. So because there is some irregularity in the size of these, therefore the ionization energy also shows some certain, student, and slight variations are there when we go from left to right, student, in the ionization enthalpies. So with a decrease in size, if size decreases, ionization enthalpy will increase. There is an increase in ionization enthalpy along each of the series from left to right, but small variations will occur. What we are saying, size decreases, ionization, first ionization, I'm saying first ionization. First means removal of first electron. This increases. But since there is a variation in the size, so there are small variations. There are small variations, students, in ionization and in the case of the transition. The values are given. See, 631, it increased, and here you can see slightly less than, almost same, then increased, then further increase, almost same, then little bit less, 740, then again increase. See the there is slight variation in the ionization enthalpy. But what we expect, student, the ionization enthalpy are inversely proportional to atomic radius, number one. Second, student, ionization enthalpy will also depend on the stability of the electron configuration. Stability of electron configuration, students. For example, student, half filled or completely filled subshells are more stable. You know, half filled or completely filled subshells are, completely filled orbitals are more stable. So more energy will be required to remove an electron from a stable configuration. So if the configuration is stable, students, what will happen? If the configuration becomes stable, then ionization enthalpy will increase too, because you will need more energy to remove an electron. As you see, in the case of zinc, student, it is very large, because what is the zinc, student? 4s2 3d10. So it is completely filled, student. It is very stable. Stable electronic configuration, student. So when you will try to remove an electron, it will be difficult and it will need more energy. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So wherever such things will be there, half filled or completely filled, there will be variations, student, in the ionization energy. So the first ionization in general increase, the magnitude of the increase in second and third successive is much higher. And also there will be variations once one electron is removed. The 3d and 4s, students, they are quite close in energy, and then electron can vibrate, student, move from 4s to 3d. And further I said, the stable electronic configuration will also decide the ionization enthalpies of these transition element, students. So I can say in the first transition series, the first and second ion value increases slowly from left to right with certain irregularities. As nuclear charge increases, attraction between nucleus outer increases, due to which ionization increases. However, electron is added in n-1d subshell. The screening effect increases. Thus, increase in nuclear charge is opposed by increase in screening effect. Hence, ionization enthalpy value slowly increases. And here is a comparison of ionization enthalpy, first ionization enthalpy, of the transition metal series, which is 3d, where is this titanium. This is the ionization enthalpy. You see there is a slight variation, and as the atomic number is increasing, this is going from here to here. Slight increase is there because the atomic sizes are not increasing that much. 3d series. And if you compare it with third period elements are what, student? You have sodium, magnesium, sodium, magnesium, aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. So here, as you go in the third period, student, ionization enthalpy, the first ionization enthalpy we are talking of in kilojoules per mole. First ionization enthalpy, they are increasing. They increase, student, as you can see in the graph. Increasing only here, it falls in the case of aluminium. That reason we also know, we have explained when we discussed today. So what do you find? There is an increase, student, increasing. Increase. What increase? Ionization enthalpy, first one increasing in a third period. Because a third period, what do you find? The atomic size decreases as you go from left to right in a period. Atomic size decreases, ionization energy will increase, because ionization energy inversely proportional to, student, atomic size. Yes or no? Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here are some of the important properties of the transition elements and comparison with the period 3, students. So we will have discussed with you what are d block elements, what are transition elements, variation in their atomic radii, factors on which it depends, student, ionization enthalpies, and how the ionization enthalpy can be compared with period 3 of these periodic table elements, students. Okay, then we will see you in our next class further, students. And I hope you are doing good and doing good practice. Thank you very much, student. I will see you in my next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right.